Here's an overly detailed guide on how to open as Abbasid. It also works for Ayyubids since it only relies on the Civ-specific mechanics that both of them share. I originally copied this from Vortex and or Luciferone as they were both using it, but it has since spread around to lots of pro players using it. It's very consistent, works on all kinds of map, and it's very fast, most important. Now, why does speed matter? It's because every game you do this opening, and the faster you can do it, the faster you can access all the bonuses from the finish landmark and or the fuel age in general. Specifically, we're gonna look at this because the Abbasid opening is more complex than that from other civs, and also it's more important for them. Why? Because they do have the military wing. Back when I was grinding Abbasid the most, military wing was basically all the rage. Everybody played military wing all the time. And the thing that happens with military wing that makes it so important to play it as fast as possible is the basic immediate bonus you get from it, which is 2 spearmen and 2 archers. These are units you can immediately use to harass your opponent, and they are usually run across the map instantly. We can see this here in this replay footage from Vortex, who's doing exactly that. He's up against a French player who went on deer pretty aggressively, pretty greedily, and Vortex immediately saw this and went for a military wing in order to punish it. After Vortex hits fuel age, you can see him immediately rush across the map, attack the villagers at the deer camp, and basically push the opponent back so hard that it ends the game instantly. If we rewind this footage just a bit and think about it, what if Vortex's military wing had been like 10 seconds slower? That tower would have been up, the defense would have held, the opponent could have stayed on the deer. The game would have gone on. Vortex wouldn't have immediately lost the game, but, you know, giving back a big chance to the opponent is obviously a mistake, and if you can end the game, you should. This is something that I think is true for military wing specifically, but it's also true for the military wing reinforcement on Ayyubid, as they both give units right away. But it's also a good thing for all other wings. We're gonna start out by looking at this more in theory. I'm gonna give a brief rundown of all the things that you need to do exactly down to the click. And after that, we're gonna do it in real time so you can play along. But first, the theory. As with any build order, the best thing you can start out with is start your villager production. Then, send all the villagers to berries. All 6 of them just walk there. You can also immediately send out the scout. You do want to consistently use the scout throughout this whole process, but I'm not going to stripe the scout movements. I'm only interested in what the villagers do and what buildings they build and whatnot. At the very catch, we're going to need 2 bushes. The bush that we've just sent all the villagers to should be the nearest bush. I'm going to call this one bush A. The second nearest bush I'm going to call bush B. Sometimes there's also a third bush, kind of a neutral one. Let's call it bush C. As these villagers are walking across to the berries, you select 2 of them and have them build a mill. Then send them to bush B and then have them build a house that connects the main town center with the mill in a way that allows for the maximum amount of farms to be placed. The next thing we do is select the main town center, rally it to the house, and then rally it to the bush B with shift, so that the next villager that spawns first builds the house and then goes gathering on the second nearest bush as well. After the villager that builds the house spawns, we can re-rally the main town center towards the gold. The next villager that spawns will start by building the mining camp and then go to gold. The other 2 villagers can just go straight to gold. At this point, I advise you to take one of the villagers from bush A and send it either to bush B or, if possible, to bush C. Then select all the villagers on bush B and just resend them to bush B. They still have the order queued up to wander towards the house, and we don't want that. We want them to continue gather berries afterwards. This will speed up the process slightly because the bush A will be running out of food just around the time when we want to hit fuel age. Once the 3rd villager spawns on going towards gold, you can wait until he's past the halfway point between the main town center and the gold mine, and then shift click it to build the House of Wisdom. This villager is not going to be building the House of Wisdom, however, we are going to use the planned House of Wisdom as a rally point for the next 2 villagers. Then we again select the main town center, rally it to the House of Wisdom, and then to one of the straggler trees near the town center. Ideally the closest one to the House of Wisdom. Placement should happen in such a way that leaves 2 tiles exactly between the House of Wisdom and the main town center. We're gonna want in the long run have a whole ring of farms around the main town center, and we want to keep as much of that space intact as possible. At the same time, the House of Wisdom should connect to the mining camp because we're gonna need every building we can to get to 10 buildings connected to the House of Wisdom to get the first bonus for the Golden Age. We want to get the wood during the Age of process, and the villagers that are going to be spawning and building the House of Wisdom are going to be some of those wood villagers. The Age up build order is mostly done at this point, because all we need to do is wait for the House of Wisdom to finish and then click the Age up as soon as it can. The 7 villagers on berries and the 3 on gold should hit their respective targets at about the same time, and therefore should allow you to get 2 feudal age very quickly. This might require you to do a forced drop-off for some of the food villages, but usually it's not necessary, provided you have sent one of the villagers from bush A to bush C. Generally, when you're trying to learn something, it's advised to pick one specific aspect and grind that one over and over and over again until it becomes muscle memory. In video games, you have to find an opponent and then play an entire game, so picking out only one specific aspect can be hard. But for this instance, for the opening, we can actually do that, which is why I recommend you do this if you want to play Ayyubids or Abbasid more or less consistently throughout the season. The most effective way of doing this is by going actually to the single player, not multiplayer mode, and create a game against an AI, then go into that game, do the opening, hit restart. The restart button only exists in single player, not in multiplayer, and then do the opening again, and again, and again, and again. Go over those 2.5 minutes until you get it down to, at least below 2 minutes and 30, and from then on, you will have it down to muscle memory, and you can apply it in every game going forward. I've included the map seed that I used for this tutorial below, so you can try and beat my time if you want. The next section is going to be Playalong, basically me going over the opening in real time, commentating as to what I'm doing, and then you can have that running in the background as you practice the opening for yourself, so that each step is going to be announced right around the time you're supposed to be doing it. Keep in mind, you don't just need to do this opening, you also need to move the scout at the same time, so even if it's just a match against an easy AI, I recommend moving the scout as if it were a real game, just for practice purposes. Or at least after you've got it down enough that you can. Do it without scout first, maybe, and then later, if you don't have the APM to do it with scout right away. I'm going to start the game in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Start villager production, all villagers to the nearest bush. Then take 2 villagers, build a mill, shift click to bush B and place a house. Then rally the town center to the house and to bush B. Send out the scout and start scouting. First villager should have just spawned. Now rally the town center to the gold. Keep scouting. You can queue up more villagers. The first villagers just spawned for gold. Place a mining camp. At this point, you should move one of the villagers from bush A to bush C, and also re-click all the villagers from bush B onto bush B, so that they don't wander off after finishing bush B. Queue up some more wills. Okay, the third gold villager should have just spawned. Use it to place the House of Wisdom so that it connects the gold mine to the main town center. And rally the main town center to the House of Wisdom and back to the tree. Your queue should now contain 2 villages exactly. One more is going to finish to help with the House of Wisdom. The next one is just going to stay in queue and finish after we've started the age up. Do not queue up any additional villagers. It will only slow down your age up. And now just hit the age up as soon as you can, and then you're done. Good job. Alright, and that's the end of this guide. I hope that helped you. If so, let me know. If it didn't help you, let me know what I can do better. This was kind of specific, but it was something that when I learned Abbasid for the first time, I was very much looking for, so maybe this can help some people. Also, why not post your personal best for starting the process of aging up with Abbasid below. My personal best is 2 minutes and 12 seconds on Golden Pit, way back when. If I can find the screenshot, I'm going to post it here, but I'm not sure if I can, because that was years ago. But yeah, thanks for watching. If you like that, subscribe to Trashcan Incorporated. We're always looking for interns. And with that, I'm out. See you around. Bye-bye.